Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend and you're not being assaulted by snow like we are once again up here. So uh, now is the time. Monday's our call that I always have something to cover, but it's also the time for you guys. If you have questions, concerns, things going well, things going poorly, we'd love to hear about it. If you got things going, concerns or questions about things going roughly, well, everybody's going to benefit from whatever question you ask and for us solving it right here. If you got things going well, people love to hear success stories. So you can either type those in, and Missy will let me know if you have typed them in, or if you're on a voice-over internet headset, or you're on a headset with on the phone, we'd love to talk to you actually as well. So, Missy, if you just let me know if we have any of those questions as I get started.
I sure will. Thanks.
Super. Thanks. So, guys, what do elite advisors do different from everybody else out there? Well, the first thing we have to ask is, what's an elite advisor? Well, according to CEG Worldwide, which is the world's foremost expert on coaching elite advisors, and elite advisors equals advisors making over $1 million a year. So I've coached about a dozen guys making over $1 million a year. These guys coach more, lots more than a dozen guys making over $1 million a year. So they do and can afford to do a ton of research on how the affluent react to advisors, and I want to talk about that today. So, what do they do more than any of the average advisors? Well, they contact their clients an average of 28 times a year. And what do they contact? And this is something else they do different than everybody else out there. And it's really counterintuitive to most advisors. Because, guys, what do you think? What kind of things do you think they send them? If they're contacting them 28 times a year, what kind of things do you think they send them? Let's see some ideas. Because it's actually counterintuitive to the average advisor. I'll wait for you guys to type in some answers. So what do you think what kind of things are they contacting them about? Again, this is for the wealthier newsletters. Yeah, Dale, newsletters. But what kind of things? Birthday cards, newsletters. Okay, David, perfect. So what do you think is in those newsletters, guys? What kind of things do you want to think of? Birthday cards? Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's only one out of the 28. So when people say birthday cards, it's only one out of the 28. So I want to talk about newsletters. Stories. Good job. Stories. Non-money related. Excellent, Jerry. Okay, so yes, you got it. Non-threatening information. Excellent, Eric. Non-threatening information, non-financial information. Yet what do most advisors send out to their clients? They send out these newsletters that are glossy, beautiful newsletters talking about what? Grits, grats, flips and flaps, and cruts and crats and everything else out there. So, guys, if your client wanted to know about financial information, they'd be a do-it-yourselfer. Your client just wants to know about you, wants to know that you like them, that you care about them, that you are a real person they can trust. They don't want to know about financial information. If they did, they'd be a do-it-yourselfer. Yet what do most advisors, if they even bother sending out newsletters or contacting the clients, what is it? Always about money, 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 money. Now, you've heard me say this little quip before, but if the only thing you talk about on a date is sex, what do they know the only thing you're worried about? Sex. So with a client, if the only thing you're talking about with them is money, 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 why do they know that you hang around with them? For their money. And they're not going to stick around long if that's the case. Okay? Everybody get that? So 28 times a year about the non-financial. So congrats to all you guys that got that. So we have what we call epidemic marketing, which takes care of all that stuff. But I want to talk a little bit more about this study because it had a lot of great kernels of truth in here. So CEG Worldwide, they interviewed 512 advisors. Of those advisors, of those 512 advisors, what percentage of their clients did they say were loyal? So I want to see 4 or 5 answers in this. So what percentage of these advisors thought that their clients were, or I'm sorry, of these advisors, what percentage of their clients did they think were loyal? What percentage of their clients did they think were loyal? 25%? I wish it was 25%. All, basically, Eric, you're right, all. 75%. They felt that 75% of their clients were loyal. Okay, so this 512, they actually interviewed 1,417 of the clients. What percentage of those clients said they were loyal? Now we get closer to the real number here. What percentage of those do you think were? Actually, 13.8. So, Vera, you're right. 10% was very, very near. 13.8. So 75 advisors thought 75% of their clients are loyal, but there was only when the clients were asked, only 13.8% of them said they were loyal. And here's the funny thing: do you think that out of every single advisor's client base, that it was 13.8, or do you think some advisors do such a great job that it was 75% or 100%, which means for the other advisors, they had no clients that were loyal? I mean, that's how it ended up. So some advisors figured it out. They knew how to deal with their clients, and almost all of their clients were loyal, which meant that awful lot of other advisors had no advisors, or I'm sorry, no clients that were loyal. And I've got a comment here that says, this is good for us to get them to move. Absolutely, Dale. You're exactly right, and that's what this whole call is about, using this to get them to move. Absolutely right. So 86% of clients are not loyal. If 13.8 said they're loyal, that means 86% are not loyal. What are they then? They're satisfied. But here's the thing. Do you realize, because before I read this article, I was clueless. Before I read this article in their study, I was clueless because I thought satisfied clients were great. But it ends up satisfied clients will kill your business. Do you get that? Satisfied clients will kill your business. Why? Here's why. Here's the difference between loyal clients and satisfied clients. So when you looked at referrals, loyal clients gave 11.8 referrals a year. Satisfied clients gives 0.1. So here's a good scoring card for you guys. Think about your clients. How many of them gave you 11.8 referrals last year? If they didn't, that's a good indication that your clients are what? Not loyal. And more likely to be what? Satisfied. So that's a great indication of whether your clients are loyal or just satisfied. How many referrals did they give last year? How much new money did they invest? Well, loyal clients invested an additional $376,000, and satisfied clients only, on average, invested an additional $17,000. Now, keep in mind, guys, CEG Worldwide, they're working with Affluent, or advisors that work with Affluent. So this 376 has to be taken into account that the advisor or the clients they're working with actually have a lot of money. But look at the ratios: 376 in new money to 17,000 in new money. That's what, less than 10. That's about 5% as much. So 95% more money over here invested on an annual basis for loyal than satisfied. Does that make sense? And then you get to the last one, amount of assets taken away. Loyal clients didn't lose a single cent, where satisfied clients lost 100,000. And what do you think? What do you think these satisfied clients were saying? Why they moved that 100,000? So let me see some answers to this. Why do you think those satisfied clients moved $100,000? And the other thing you need to know is when these satisfied clients were interviewed, almost all of them were looking at moving some money away. Why? They were looking for what? Well, lack of contact, yeah, I would agree that's the cause. No contact, that's the cause. But why were they moving that 100,000? Why didn't they move all of it then? They only moved 100,000 because they were satisfied, but they were just putting their toe in the water to see if what? They're putting their toe in the water to see if what? Because this is something you need to understand. Because you can actually capitalize on this. You can leverage it. They're putting their big toe in the water to see if what? Someone else can do better, Eric. Exactly right. That's exactly what they were doing. So satisfied clients will stay with you until they find something better. So they start throwing a little money here and a little money there to see if somebody else can do better. Then presto, it's gone once they find that person. So the number one reason people leave their advisors is lack of contact. It's not lack of return. Not even close. Here's the numbers. Lack of contact. 82% mentioned the lack of contact. Only 47% mentioned the lack of service. Where do you think lack of return was? Less than 20% cited lack of return for leaving their advisor. 82% lack of contact. Now, are you starting to see where you can leverage this, guys? I'm going to explain in detail how you can do it, but are you starting to formulate in your own mind how you could leverage this? So the epidemic marketing we have with 5Q is very cost effective. It's only, it's actually, it says 5 to 27. It's actually $6 to $30 to bring on a new client. It's easy. We do it for you. It gets clients that don't respond to other type of marketing. Gives you name recognition. And the best thing is it gets you large case sizes. So it's all here, all the different marketing pieces. So we have the manual, and then we have your pieces for the last 3 months. So the client prospect drift, what's in there is we have the snail mail newsletter, so the 1 or 1.5 page newsletter written about financial or non-financial things, guys. Non-financial. But it always gives them things that they can implement very easily to make their lives better. Also, what do you always want to include in your newsletter, guys? So I give you the content on, which is about not non-financial things, but things that are kind of on the fringes of financial, how to make their lives better. But what else should you always include in there? Let's see if, and I've talked to some guys who are doing this really well. What else do you always want to include in the opening paragraph to that newsletter? Dale says personal information. Exactly. Stuff that's going on in your life. Stuff that's going on in your life, whether it's with your kids or your sports or your motorcycle club or whatever it is, things that are going on in personal life so they get to know you better. You want them to, once a month, get to know you better. So we have that snail mail newsletter. We also have the email, because we know people forward emails. People don't like to refer, but they will forward emails. So we write the one-paragraph email with one idea that makes it very, very forwardable. We also have the client's IQ. And guys, we're paying for that for you. For those of you that are on 5Q, on the total system, we pay for that for you, so you should be sending those things out. You darn well better. So there's 3 chances to touch them every single month. And then we have all these other drips. We have the attorney-client drip. We have the public relationship. We have the small business drip. So we have lots of ways for you to be touching the public on a regular basis. And those of you that heard me talk about this, all the studies that show or talk about luck, or the research that's about luck, can you make your own luck? Yes. What is the number one characteristic of lucky people, guys? What's the number one characteristic of lucky people? So let's see some answers to this. Taking action? Well, yeah. Knowing lots of people. Yes, Fred. Knowing lots of people. Fred nailed it. And the more contact you have with people, the luckier you get. The more contact you have with people, the luckier you get. And epidemic marketing is all about that. Okay? So here's just some comments from guys that have used epidemic marketing over the years. In the first month, using just a part of epidemic marketing, I had 4 great referrals that brought on a new client. I don't know how I got along without it. I have a guy moving $2 million by using epidemic marketing to bring him in. I had a gentleman tell me the reason he chose me over every other advisor was due to the epidemic marketing material I'd sent him. He moved over $1.2 million with him. So this one here I want to talk about. I had a gentleman tell me that the reason he chose me over every other advisor was due to the epidemic marketing material. So, and this one as well, this $2 million. Guess what? When do you think these people originally saw this advisor, or Brian and Rick? When do you think they originally saw them? Do you think they just received one newsletter and then, oops, they received one newsletter and they moved their money? You think that's what happened? When do you think they first saw these advisors? Yes, Casey, 6 to 12 months. These people had gone to seminars, had met with the advisor, decided to not move forward, but the advisor kept dripping on these people, because the more money people have, the more likely they are to move the first time you see them, or the more likely they are not to move the first time you see them. The more likely they are not to move the first time you see them. But by dripping on and dripping on and dripping on, both these guys, Brian and Rick, told me that the client said, you know what, you send me stuff all the time. My advisor, the only time he calls me is why. And they both said this. They said, the only time my advisor calls me is why. What was the reason they said that their advisor called them? This $2 million, sell them, exactly. Sell them something. Well, here Brian and Rick, they were just tripping on them with helpful, fun, easy-to-read information. Now, I want to talk about that because, you know, the newsletter that I give you looks very amateurish. Guys, do you really think I can't create a beautiful newsletter? You really think I don't have the capability to create a beautiful newsletter? Of course I do. Why don't we? Here's why. There is one document that's read from cover to cover once a week by millions and millions of people across the country. There's a document that's read cover to cover by millions and millions of people, probably 100 million people to 200 million people, every single week. Cover to cover. What is that? What document is that, guys? Church bulletin, Jerry. Exactly right. Church bulletin. Yes, Casey. Church bulletins. And what do church bulletins look like? Most times they look what? Very amateurish. So why do people read them from cover to cover? Because they're written by somebody they know. They're written about people they know. They're written about things that affect them in everyday life. They're interesting and they're short. So I want my newsletter to look like a church bulletin. Does that make sense to everybody? And I've had some very, very, very successful. The one story I love to tell is about one of my advisors in New York, in the New York City, and he's a powerful stockbroker, and he just thought my newsletter looked so amateurish compared to the beautiful, I think, 12-page newsletter he was sending out on a monthly basis on full color, all about financial. And his wife finally talked him into sending out my crappy little newsletter. First month, boom. He got like 3 new clients. Second month, boom. More money from current. And he said, you know what? In 2 months using your crappy newsletter, and that's what he called it, crappy newsletter. In 2 months using your crappy newsletter, I've gotten more money than after 5 years of using my fancy schmancy newsletter. Why? Because people can relate, Joe says. Yes, exactly right. People can relate. So why isn't everybody using the epidemic marketing? I don't get why. Because when I talk to guys, I mean, Casey here always gives me feedback on the Monday morning calls, and he tells me every single time I talk to him that he's getting results from the epidemic marketing. But I talk to every Casey I talk to, I've got 5 other guys who aren't using it. I do not know why. Because here's the thing. It gets you big clients. So let me see some answers to this. Why does it get you big clients? Why is this the way to get big clients, guys? I mean, I just gave you the hint here a couple slides ago. Why is this the way to get big clients? Are clients likely to buy from you the first time you talk to them, the first time you sell them? Build trust slowly, Casey says. Exactly right. You have to build trust slowly with, yeah, there you go. I'm getting lots of good answers now from Jeff, Eric. So you have to build trust slowly with people with more money. But the nice thing is it costs you literally nothing as compared to other marketing systems. So the problem is with epidemic marketing, this monthly drip, all these little systems we have that we can send to them and contact them on a monthly basis, is it doesn't work if you have ADHD. Guys, you have to be consistent. If you send it out monthly, you need to send it out every single month. You can't send it out sometimes 3 months in a row and then nothing for 6 months, and then you'd send it out again for 1 month and skip 3 months. No, it has to be consistent. They have to see that you're reliable. They have to see that you're consistent. So, yeah, it doesn't work if you have ADHD, but if you have ADHD, hire somebody who doesn't have ADHD to do this. And we'll look at actually how much time it takes to send this out. But it really only costs $6 to $30 to get a client. And here's where I came up with this number. $6 because it costs 50 cents. 50 cents to send out the snail mail newsletter. And it costs nothing to send out the email. And for those of you on 5Q, it costs you nothing to send out the Clients IQ electronic newsletter, which, again, is a different newsletter than the snail mail one. You're not sending out an identical newsletter, one by email and one by snail mail. Oh, and by the way, why do you have to send? Which one's more important, the email newsletter or the snail mail newsletter? Let's see some answers to this. What's more important, the snail mail newsletter or the email newsletter? Snail mail, Fred says. All right, guys, they're all saying snail mail. Exactly right. But guess what everybody wants to send out? All advisors want to send out. They want to send out the email one. Why? Because it's easier, because it's cheaper. Well, guess what? Clients know that it's easier and cheaper, which means it's worth what? Less. But I tell you what, the Clients IQ electronic newsletter, they send out automatically for you every month. It's beautiful. It's done very, very well, so it's worthwhile sending out. But if I have to choose one or the other, I'm going to send out the snail mail one. Absolutely right. So I'm saying, hey, what if it took you a year? It cost you only $6 for a year. What if it took you 5 years to bring on a client? Then it would only cost you $30 to get that client. Is that worth it to bring on a big client? Because here, well, I'll explain here what we're doing. I'll explain why it may take a year to 5 years, but you're almost guaranteed to get a client within 5 years because of this, and I'll explain here in a bit. So, but here's the problem. Oh, yeah, and $6.30, not to get a prospect, but to get a client. So here's the problem that most guys see. They send it out for 3 months, and they get no activity. Now, again, this is rare. Most people get some activity in the first 3 months, and it'll pay for itself for the next 2 years based on that activity. But let's say it takes 3 months before you see any type of activity. I mean, it takes time. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't work for the ADHD person who wants to see results immediately. This epidemic marketing builds and builds. It starts as a little snowball and turns into an avalanche over time. But think about it. Really, anything in life, guys, anything in life that we make takes time, doesn't it? It takes time to make a baby. It takes 9 months to make a baby. It takes time to get our education. It takes, what, 16 years to get our education. It takes time to build a house or even be able to afford a house. Anything worth doing takes time. So what makes epidemic marketing so successful? Well, who's your best prospect? Someone with money and someone who likes working with another advisor. See, and there's a law of physics that says two people or two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. Well, guess what? With our clients, guess what? Two advisors can't occupy the same space at the same time. So guess what we need to do? We need to figure out how to get rid of that other advisor. Now, obviously, our 3-meeting process helps do that. But if our 3-meeting process fails to do that, because remember, we kick half the people out at our first meeting, that means we have to keep dripping on that 50%. Well, can we still get a big majority of that 50% that we kick out? Absolutely. Here's why. Not that many people with money are actively looking for financial advice. Can we admit that? Not that many people with money are actively looking for financial advice. If they were actively looking for financial advice, they'd already found another advisor. So they're not actively looking for financial advice because they have an advisor, and they're assuming that that advisor is taking care of all of their needs. So the biggest hurdle we have to bring on a new client is the current advisor. Well, if you think about those of you who play sports at a high level, what does your coach do the week before you play that opponent? What does your coach show you the week before you play an opponent? Mike, Dale is asking, Mike, do you write the Client's IQ newsletter? Yes, I do. You probably recognize my style of writing, so I write that one as well. Film. Okay, Casey and Dale, they show film of what? What are they trying to identify in that film, guys? What are they trying to identify in that film? The film that they look at the week before they play an opponent. What do you think, guys? Weaknesses, Joe says. Absolutely right, weaknesses. So we need to identify our opponent's weaknesses, and then we will exploit them. So what are our clients' biggest weaknesses? Well, the fact is, if we better find those weaknesses because we're a commodity. Can we offer sales on our products? Can we say, hey, annuities, 20% off today. Hey, mutual funds, 20% off today. We can't do that, can we? And we can't claim to have great service because what do all of our competitors claim to have? Great service. So we just sound like a noise. They just hear a noise when we say we have better service because everybody claims that and they don't believe anybody does. But that kind of puts us in a catch-22. And here's the catch-22 with new clients. We can't prove we're better than our competitors until our client works with us. We can't prove, can we, that we're better than our competitors until our clients work with us. And the catch-22 is what? Client's not going to work with us until we can prove we're better than our competitors. So we got this catch-22. We can't prove that we're better than our competitors until they work with us, but they won't work with us until we prove that we're better than our competitor. But is there a way we can show them that we're better than their competitor? Yes, there is. We're going to exploit our competitor's biggest weakness. See, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So knowing is what? Advisors love to show clients how much they know. That's those fancy schmancy 5-color newsletters that are 12 pages long talking about grits, grats, crits, crats, flips, and flaps. All those financial things. But clients don't care about that. Do-it-yourselfers do, but clients don't care about that. What they want to know is, do you care? So guys, how do you show people that you care? How do you show your mom that you care? So if all you do with your mom is buy our magazines with lots of information, if all you do with your mom is try to constantly trying to put her in a better position, or get her help her with her bank and things like that, that's not showing that you care. How do you show your mom that you care? Oh, Dale says he's not kissing his clients. No, you don't have to kiss her, but kind of. What do you do with people that you care about? How do you show them you care? Spend time with them, exactly. Call them. Contact them. You show people you care by contacting them, by spending time with them. Now, we're not going to spend time with our clients except virtually, right? Through the snail mail newsletter, through the little email paragraph we send them, and through the Client's IQ digital newsletter. That's how we spend time with them. But we also then will have what I used to do is a summer barbecue with them. And then I would do the Christmas lights tour in the winter. So twice a year we would do group activities together. But they felt that they knew me backwards and forwards, which is what I wanted. That's who they want to do business with. See, here's the sad thing. And this is what you can capitalize on. As advisors, we spend a ton of time chasing something we have no control over. What do we have no control over, guys? Return. We have no control over return. But geez, what do? We have no control over return, but boy, we're buying Morningstar and Del Bar and Value Line, and we're researching this, that, and the other thing. We spend all this time trying to control return, but we have no control over return. And also, what did we find out about return and the reason people leave their advisors? Do people leave their advisors because of return? No. Yet we constantly spend all of our time looking at what? Trying to get them a higher return. And we don't have any control over that. But we do have control over something. What do we have control over, guys? What do we have 100% control over? What do we have 100% control over? Our time, yeah. What else, guys? Contact, exactly. Contact, Casey. We have complete control over how many times we contact them. See, so we spend all this time chasing something we have no control over, which in the end they're not really that concerned about, because guess what they consider us as advisors? Do they really think one of us can get them a better return than another? You guys, do you really think that these people think that one advisor can give them a higher return than another advisor? They don't. They just want to make sure they have an advisor that cares about them, and caring comes from contact. So how do you make your clients loyal? Through contact. See, and it's crazy. Advisors spend so much time chasing after something that they have virtually no control over, return, and to an end that clients don't care that much about return. Yet on the other hand, we spend very little time controlling something or over something we have complete control over that clients care an awful lot about. So loyal clients want to be touched 28 times a year about non-financial issues. It can't be about money. It has to be about the non-financial things. So with Epidemic Marketing, you can contact them 2 to 4 times a month about non-financial issues. We do it for you. See, an advisor say, well, I don't have time to contact people 2 times a month. Well, guys, it only takes 1 or 2 hours a month. You really don't have 1 or 2 hours a month to contact them, or 5 or 10 minutes a month with an assistant to contact your clients. The Clients IQ digital newsletter goes out automatically. You don't have to do anything for that every month. The snail mail newsletter, heck, that only takes, all you're doing is printing and stuffing in envelopes. Hire your teenage kid to do that if you don't want to do it. And the email newsletter, heck, the email that we send out, the little paragraph email we send out, that also doesn't take any time. See, I want you to understand the power of Epidemic Marketing, and I'll give you a personal story. My wife and I had a dentist, and we were happy with them, the dentist. They're fine. So we stayed with our dentist, and we actually referred people to him because we were pretty happy with them. And then I went to Rotary meeting, and at the Rotary meeting, they had a dentist there. And he just gave a little speech about, a 20-minute talk about dentistry and about how things, all the new things that were happening and blah, 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 right? He seemed like a nice guy. So did I move my dentist from my current dentist to this new dentist that spoke at Rotary? No, of course not. But then this dentist, what he did is he started to mail to me. And was it about dentists, giving me coupons for dentist things? Was it? No. It was about nice, friendly stuff. Now, it was on the fringe of dentistry, but it wasn't always about dentistry itself. So one of them was, hey, we're going to be at the county fair. Come see us. We'll give you a coupon for a free brat at the Lions Club booth. And then I said, hey, well, watch us on TV tonight. We're going to be on Channel 5, blah, blah, blah. Hey, here's an idea on how to get your kids to brush more. So it was these constant little things that he was contacting me every single month, not about dentistry per se, maybe on the fringes, but not pushing or selling his practice. So this went on for about 6-7 months. And I didn't move my dentistry, but I thought it was kind of cool what he was doing. And then one day my wife chipped her tooth on the weekend. And we called our dentist. And guess what our dentist said? We don't work on the weekends. You just have to, take some ibuprofen and see us on Monday. But I remembered this dentist, and always in the bottom of his newsletter says, hey, we're available at all times. So I said, well, let's call this guy at least. We called him. Boom. Takes my wife in. We have a pleasant experience. And guess what happened to our dentist relationship right then and there? We moved to that dentist. Why did I call that dentist? Because he was dripping on me all the time. So here's how epidemic marketing works. They may not move to you initially, but you're sitting there waiting for what to happen. You're sitting there waiting for what to happen, guys. What are you waiting for it to happen by dripping on them continually? See some answers. What are we waiting for? Circumstances change? I would go along with it, Joe. Their advisor to screw up. Exactly right. And Missy, who is Fur? I can't see what the name of that is.
It's Fern. It's Fern. Yeah.
Fern, you're giving me tons of great answers. You're absolutely right on target, Fern. We wait till they make a mistake. Now, here's the great thing. Do our competitors make mistakes? Do they? And then, Missy, can you mute yourself again, please? Thanks.
Sure can.
Do our competitors make mistakes? Yes. Do they forget to return phone calls? Will their staff sometimes be rushed and grumpy when the people call? Do they not follow through on what they said they're going to do? Or when the market falls and the client calls up and is worried about the market falling, do our competitors say things like this? Well, keep in mind, folks, nothing to be worried about. We set up your portfolio to weather this kind of things. We got to stay in this for the long term. We got to keep our eye on the ball. This is long term. Things go up, things go down. We're in the right place at the right time. So, don't worry about it. Guys, is that good or is that a mistake? Is that a good way to handle it or is that a mistake? That's a mistake. What did that advisor just tell that client by answering their question that way? That client called up worried, and what did that advisor say? Quit bothering me. I've got things under control. You're worried about nothing. Just go back to your life. Don't worry about things. They brushed them off, Jeffrey. Exactly right. They brushed them off. So when that happens, and you've been dripping on these people with nice, friendly messages showing how much you care for the last 6 months, what is that person going to do? Pick up the phone and call you. It works, guys. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for you're just waiting for your competitors to make a mistake, and they do. They do. Because our competitors have loyal clients, or do they have satisfied clients? They have satisfied clients. The satisfied clients are just waiting for what? Something better. Satisfied clients are just looking for something better, and when they find it, they're gonna move. See, two weaknesses our competitors possess is this. They don't contact 86.2% of their clients about non-financial issues. And this 86.2%, all I'm saying is these are what? The satisfied clients versus the loyal clients. They're not contacting those people, and they think that satisfied clients is good enough. Our competitors, just like I thought that having a satisfied client was good enough. Having a satisfied client is not good enough. You need loyal clients. They give you referrals. They move more money to you. More importantly, you have to be a predator. You have to constantly be dripping on your competitors' clients because they think they're satisfied is good enough. And when you're constantly dripping on your competitors' clients, eventually they're going to say, you know what? This other person is way better. They care about me way more. They contact me 12, 24, 36 times a year. My guy only contacts me when he wants me to move more money. Guys, it's so simple and easy to do, and it's so effective. See, the competitor is trying to control the uncontrollable, which is rate of return. And what instead, we're going to attack their weakness, which is we're going to contact their clients or these great prospects about non-financial issues over and over and over. So while our competitors are spending all this money on seminars, newspaper ads, brochures, lead generation, we're going to inexpensively contact them, contact their best clients. Because, guys, think about that. Who is your best prospect? Who is your best prospect? Our best prospect is our competitor's best client. That's our best prospect. Do we want to work with people with no money? No. Do we want to work with do-it-yourselfers? No. So my best prospect is my competitor's best clients. So I need to go after them. And my competitors are treating their clients in a manner that only makes them satisfied. Not loyal, but just satisfied, which means they're looking for something better. And when they're looking for something better, what are they looking for? Contact. They're looking for contact. So I'll give you an example. With epidemic marketing, when I stepped out of my practice, I no longer was doing any seminars, doing any marketing whatsoever, but I still continue to drip on my clients. The year I quit marketing at all, stopped any marketing whatsoever, but just continued to drip on my clients, I've made $360,000 just from epidemic marketing. Just from epidemic marketing. That's crazy. So epidemic marketing, I mean, how does it work? Essentially, what you want to do is be consistent, like I said. Once you start it, make sure you do it every single month. The message should be more about how much you care than how much you know. The reasons they contact you, that is not a sales pitch. That's the messages have.
Hey, Mike? Mike? Sorry, guys. Hold on. I think his headset might have gone dead.
Oh. When did I quit hearing me? Okay, I think my battery ran on my headset. So can everybody hear me now? Can I see some yeses so if you can hear me? Can I see some yeses if you can hear me? Did you turn this headset on, Missy? Can I hear some?
We can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Good. Thanks. So I don't know where you cut out, so I'll just go quickly through this again. Be consistent. Message about how much you care, not about how much you know. Reasons to contact you, that is not a sales pitch. Message has to be coordinated, and we do that for you with our 3 messages we give you to send out every and then you have to give a gift at least 3 months, and we give you ideas on what those gifts would be. And then contact are cost and time efficient. So again, by doing what we do and giving those to you, it makes it cost and time efficient. Does it take a couple of days to set it up initially? Yes. But after that couple of days that it takes to set it up, then it's like a couple of a month to touch them 3 times a month. That's huge. So we have, obviously, the whites of their eyes marketing. We have focus groups and paper. We have our group presentations, our property casualty. We have the trip presentations. We have all those things. And we'll get you in front of 61 people a month with no upfront marketing costs. We do that. But that's the immediate marketing. You can make some wonderful money that way. But to be highly successful, one up and up, and your marketing costs go down, down, down. And the way that you accomplish that is with this epidemic marketing. Actually, most of your money from all these. Initially, you get all your money from the focus groups, the Take Your Brain for a Jog presentations, the Social Security presentations, the property casualty things. That's where the trip things. That's initially where you get a lot of your money up front. But over time, you want to, again, have your income go up and up and up and your costs go down. And you do that by touches with all of these prospects that we're constantly gathering by all of those things, all those presentations that you do. You gather their information. You gather their addresses. You gather their email addresses. You're constantly gathering so that you, even if they don't come on with you initially, through time you build up. You start out with a little snowball, and it turns into an avalanche of people moving to you. You want to up as big as possible because over time your income is going to go up and up and up, and your marketing cost is going to go down, 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 which is what we're all about. Does that make sense to everybody? So the question I had for you is, if you're not yet doing this, what are you waiting for? If you're not yet doing this, what are you waiting for? It's so cheap. It only takes a couple of days to set up, but then that's done. After that, it's only taking a couple of hours a month to do this. Guys, this is how you get big ticket. This is how you increase your income every single year, increase your marketing costs. Please, please, we give you all the tools. Please start using them, okay? So, any questions, any concerns before I let you go today? Looks like I either did a good job or a poor job because we don't have any questions or concerns. Guys, I hope that you understand the reasoning that I'm using today. This can be a huge boost to your business, not now, but 6 months from now. And 12 months from now is going to be even bigger, and 18 months even bigger, and 2 years from now even bigger. So, guys, please, we give you all the tools. Make sure you're out there using them, okay? If you have any questions on that stuff, make sure you're contacting support at 5Q Group or your 5Q specialist. Being on the call today. If I have no questions, I'll cut you loose early here. Was this a worthwhile call, guys? Can I get some yeses or nos or on that? Oh, let's see. Okay, we get a lot of yeses. Perfect. Oh, here's some questions I didn't see. Super. What about the seminar from last week? Oh, is that up, Missy?
Yeah, it's actually posted along with the call on the Full 5Q site.
So for those of you that are Full 5Q members, the slides from last week's presentation on why there's the 5 risks that people aren't aware of in the market, that's up underneath the call section.
It might be breaking up kind of bad, so I'm just going to reiterate what he's saying.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you guys are hearing what I am.
Okay.
It's posted underneath the replay section of the call, and it's actually just a PowerPoint that you can go ahead and download. And what is the best seminar to do in the summer?
Can you have Jeff talk about that since I don't have since I'm breaking up?
Go ahead,
The
Jeff.
best summers, you know, I talk to people all over the country, and for the most part, summers are a little bit slower. Now, sometimes I'll get guys that tell me summers aren't slow for us. That's when we have people streaming back into town. So if you're from Florida or Arizona or Texas, you might have people stream into town over the winter and leave and go home in the summer. If you're from Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, that's a time when we have people come into town. But people are generally busy. You know, I think any seminar that you do will work well in the summer. You'll get attendance. The problem is that people get busy with weddings and graduations and that kind of thing. And so it kind of gums up the meeting process a little bit. But, you know, I used to be a big believer that seminars didn't work in the summer, and now I've kind of changed my tune and think that they can work in the summer. You just have to, you know, maybe scale it back a little bit. We have guys that do seminars successfully in the summer. I think Take Your Brain for a Jog would be fine in the summer. I think Social Security is a great seminar for the summer as well because people have to file when they have to file. And if that's in June, July, or August, they still have to file in June, July, or August, regardless of what else they have going on. So, you know, the reality is summer is a little bit slower, and you're maybe not going to do as many seminars, but I don't know that there's one seminar that works great in the summer and doesn't work any other time of the year, or there's one seminar that works better in the summer than any other seminar. They all work fine. You just have to be a little bit mindful in the summer that people do take vacations, they do have weddings, and so it isn't that they don't work. You will get attendance. It's just that, you know, the meeting process is going to be a little bit slower, and because of that, sometimes guys choose to do more of the epidemic marketing, do some focus groups, do some of the other things that go back to current clients with the trip, do some of the other things that we have.
So, good
Other questions?
Yeah. Okay, those are good questions. So if you can still hear me and I'm not breaking up, we'll call it a morning. I appreciate you being on the call, and we will hope you have a great week, and we will talk to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.